I thought if we went in alphabetical order and you introduce yourself and just talk about a couple of programs that you would like to talk about or whatever else you'd like to talk about. If some people, for example, Mary Pat, aren't necessarily talking about programs, but something that you want to talk about to do with programs. So first is
Sure.
Georgia Applegate, but she's not here yet. So next is Regina Ayers of Ashland, but you're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I kept my ex-husband's name, Ayers, so that I could be at the top of the alphabet. And over the years, I have to say it's been a real benefit. So, this year I've been president, public policy primarily, and president, and now I took on programs this year, and I've really enjoyed it. I really had my own agenda, I suppose, about who I wanted to invite to be guest speakers. And we did do some surveying of our membership. And one thing that they did say is they wanted local speakers. And um, so I did my best to get as many local speakers as I could. When I knew I was going to be programs manager, I um I went to well, one of the reasons I went to the state convention was to hear the speakers there because there were several on the agenda that I wanted to get for Ashland, and they were the filmmakers who were already from
Mhm.
Ashland, so they were going to be local, and then there were two that were not going to be local, but that were really of interest to me. It was the educational program for incarcerated women because I had done some work with Coffee Creek over the years. And then the other one was the veterans. And so the veterans, even though they were not local, the veterans and the incarcerated women uh, were obviously segments of the, women's community that my members would not have any insight into. So I invited both of them. I really wanted the incarcerated, but I could never make that happen. But I did get the woman who spoke for the Veterans Affairs, and she was great. And I think that was well received. We usually have 45 people that come to our branch meetings. And there were no veterans in the room. I was a little surprised by that, but not really. I don't imagine our membership has too many veterans. We're the largest branch in the state. And so it was all new information. And so that was what I was looking for, is to educate our members on women that they may not have any insight into their stories. And what I tell the speakers is what I'm more interested in is your personal journey as a woman. And you've reached some plateau in your life where you've been successful and you've got a career or you've done something. And I guess what I want to know is how did they get there? So it's more of a personal journey than talking about anything else. And the other one that has been well received this year is we have a local theater group, Oregon Theater Company. And the woman that made that happen is Jessica Sage, and I know her personally, and she was very enthusiastic about coming. And she came, and it was like having a one-woman show. She's an actor and a producer and everything, screenwriter. And so it was like we had a one-woman performance in front of us for an hour. It was really, really enjoyable. And she offered us two tickets to a silent auction we're having and also a 10% discount to any AAUW members. So that was a real coup.
Oh, it is neat.
And we had local peacemakers, two women that are in the run an organization here called Peace House. So they talked about how they became involved in the peace movement. One lady was of our age group. So she started back in the 60s. So she had a lot to tell us about that. And then up and coming, we're going to have an Indigenous woman. So I reached out to the university and I got the Native American liaison to SOU. So she will be coming in March. And we're looking, and again, our membership doesn't have any insight into that community. So I'm wanting to hear this woman's story. And then we're also having a local, we have a Bloomsbury Books. If you guys, any of you that come to Ashland know that Bloomsbury Books is a fabulous independent bookstore. That, am I taking too long?
You have about a minute left.
Oh, you, okay, good, thank you. And so it was started by four women 40 years ago. And so I tried to get a hold of one of the original owners. They just sold out finally after all these years to a young couple. And I wanted to have one of the original owners and the young woman that just bought it to speak to us at the same time. But the original owner says, nah, I'm out of this. I've been doing it for 40 years. I don't want to do it anymore. So we're having her come, and so she, I'm sure all of our members will, want to know the direction that this young woman may be wanting to take with one of our landmark businesses here in town. And then the last one is going to be somebody from SOU, the provost at our university here. And the university is going through some real big challenges financially. And so she'll be talking to us about that. So that's what's happening in Ashland.
Good. Well, thank you. So it seems like you have a local focus, which is,
Yeah.
it helps to focus things. Good, thank you. Okay, next we have Randa Blanding.
Well, I'm not going to represent one of my two branches, and I'm just here to listen because I'm relatively new to Oregon, and I'm just trying to find out all kinds of new things about Oregon. And
Randa,
I am
which,
communication chair on the board of directors for Oregon,
Randa, which two branches are you members of?
Lake Oswego and online branch.
Thank you.
And a lot of the messages that we get sent out are from Randa. So now you know there's a face, Randa Blanding. Thanks for all you do. Okay, next, Claudia Carmichael, that would be me. I started as president at Salem branch. I started as just proofing the newsletter, I thought, and then Sally said, well, could you just be the administrative contact? Because there wasn't a president. And then all of a sudden I was the president. I don't know what happened. So then I went to the conference earlier this year, and there wasn't a program person stepping up. And it was such a neat experience. Everybody was talking and networking and sharing. And it's just like this, we can see each other's faces, but there's something about being, in person. And so I felt like if I didn't step up, that it might just die out and we would just be in Zoom land forever, which I like Zoom. I mean, it's good that we have Zoom because we wouldn't be able to do this otherwise. But that's why I stepped up to be program vice president, and that's why we're having this meeting. So it's kind of like with programs, if nobody steps up, it dies out and the branch dies out. And I didn't want to see that happen. And none of you do, I think, because that's why we're all here. So I'll let Jean talk about some of our programs. So next is Mara Faust from Portland.
Hi, everybody. So this is my second year doing programs. We don't have a president. We're running by committee, but I'm in charge of organizing the programs. And this year we first started with a reproductive rights topic in September. Dr. Allison Edelman of OHSU talked about the effect of federal cuts on Oregon and the Dobbs decision. And one thing I learned was a lot of states have immunity for doctors if they prescribe out of state online. Oregon does not. That's a legislative fix we need to make. So for Oregon to perform abortions, people from out of state have to come into state to actually get their abortions. You can't prescribe them pills or prescribe them pills, but they have to come in state for a physical. So that was kind of interesting. Anyway, they're working on that, and she kind of gave us the 411. There's been cutbacks all over the place, including to Planned Parenthood. But she was inspiring, and she is a local doctor in town. Then this Friday for our holiday party, we're going to have Coach Patrick McGee Jenks and two of his juniors from Lincoln High. They won the national We the People high school constitutional competition last spring. And so if they're going to inspire us. The kids are actually going to tell us about, how they studied for it and what the competition looked like and, what life at Lincoln High is like with this team. Okay. Then March of next year, we're going to do universities at a crossroads, the effect of federal cuts and immigration restrictions to Portland's higher education. We're having a panel of 3 administrators, one from PCC, one from PSU, and one from Reed. Kind of ironically, even though I have 3 gals committed, and PCC we give scholarships to every year. They're totally on board with us, and PSU is always on board. But Reed keeps trying to get out of it. They haven't said we can't come. They just first said, "Gee, are you sure you need us?" Yes. Are the dates still set? Yes. Gee, I have potential conflict. Can we reschedule? No. I think because, private school, I don't know, maybe administrators have a different agenda. But so far, I still have them all on the hook. And because it's a panel, I'm going to be recruiting from AAUW membership in Gresham, Lake Oswego, Hillsborough. When you get a panel, you need normally we get about 20 people. But for 3 speakers, I'm going to want, 40 people. So everyone in the Portland metro area will be hearing about this March event. And schools are really all having financial troubles because of what's going on with the federal government.
Right.
And then lastly, in May, and so this year it's education, but it's politics, federal and local. For May, I actually did a cold email. No one knew this guy. His specialty at PSU is both fascist creep and resistance movements, both historical and current. And so I'm not sure, we're going to have to shape his talk, but it should be pretty interesting just given what's going on in society today compared to historically. And so I'm pretty excited about that topic as well. In between, we've been doing, other things that are not so heavy. We did a play preview at a small community theater in October that was fun. We did a fundraiser that was a tea, and someone from PCC came and talked to us about the endowments, and some other smaller events. But we have an exciting year this year.
Sounds good. Which reminds me, if you can add me to your newsletter list,
Okay.
because we all get, even now, ideas from other people. And so we're always trying to figure out for conferences what speakers we can get. And if I can see some other ideas, and if I were you all, I would take notes on programs that you hear about that sound really good, because we're allowed to copy things. We don't have to recreate the wheel all the time. And it's hard to think of new things all the time. So thank you, Mara.
Done.
Georgia is there, but we don't see her. So Marissa, are you up to talking to us?
I am. Thank you. So I am in my 2nd year as the branch president and also wearing the program chair hat. We have a small branch. We have 11, and at no time do we see more than 6 most of the time, if we're lucky, coming to events. So I, talking with the executive committee, we decided that we were going to do things locally, just like Regina talked about. And we tried to look for things that we wanted to learn about. So if we're focusing on education, we wanted to continue to educate ourselves a little bit more. So we spent some time with the new director, a woman who new in the community, I should say returning to the community as the director of the Art Center. Okay, we learned about what the center does, what the membership benefits are, what are the education programs they're doing for kids. We had a lovely, lovely time there. Invited her to join, but she hasn't yet. But we try to kind of double duty when we have these events. We also spent some time with the new director of the Ford Family Foundation, learning about what the Ford Family Foundation does and the Rural Development Initiative, I believe it's called. And she's also new to the community, invited her to join the AAUW, but we haven't seen any traction on that either, unfortunately. And then we spent some time just last month with Thrive Umpqua, which is the offshoot of the Blue Zones community here in Roseburg. I don't know if you're familiar with Blue Zones, all of you, but for many of our members, they were not familiar with Blue Zones, which is kind of surprising because it's really been very big part of our culture for many years now. So that was very interesting. We also are really looking towards occasionally doing a book. I know there are other branches that have book clubs, but we have looked at, what kind of book can we choose that would be of interest, even those members who maybe don't come to the meetings, and we're going to try to do those meetings by Zoom, because we have a few women in their late 90s who don't come out, but they are life members, dues paying members, really supportive, but we don't see them at anything. And we've often offered to go get them, and we've offered to go to them, but we don't have a regular meeting place. We're a road show. So we're going to go to Thrive Umpqua, we go to the Ford Family Foundation, and then we usually go out and have lunch or breakfast. We realize that most people do not want to do evening meetings. I think I'm the only one, maybe two of us who are still working. So mornings and afternoons, we don't do any evenings with wine anymore. Darn. But that's what we're doing in Roseburg.
That sounds good. And Marissa is also the events coordinator for the state. So she and I are the ones working on the conferences coming up in 26 and 27. So now you know what we look like. Georgia Applegate, Oregon Online. Can you
Hello.
introduce yourself and just tell us a little about programs but you're also Grants Pass, right?
Yes. I'm in Grants Pass. Grants Pass was my primary branch. And this is my last year as president of the online branch. So I am not looking towards next year in terms of programming, because I'm looking towards next year in terms of being regular member, just attending. This year, the online branch has joined with online branch of Washington and California. The last couple of years, we have done a lot of work in terms of presenting programs along with AUW California online. So this year we're adding AUW Washington online, and we've done this year the 3-branch collaboration, so that each of our branches is presenting one program for the 3 branches. And then Washington and California Online have presented their programs. And of course, then each of those branches invite the other 2. Our branch is going to present our selection in January, and we are presenting Charity Woodrum, who's going to be giving a presentation based on her movie, but it'll be a little bit different because people will not have seen her movie necessarily. And we've done things in the past. You want to talk? One of the things you said in the email was, what program are you most proud of? I think we are most proud of our Nick Whistle program. For 2 years, we did Nick Whistle and had young women, or older women for that matter, people who have attended Nick Whistle. We made sure we got our person that we sent to Nick Whistle, plus other people who went to Nick Whistle from Oregon, as well as from California. So it was a joint one. And Nancy Brown very graciously took the recording from Zoom and edited it, and it's now on the state YouTube channel. So we're proud of that one, and it got many, many views, and it was very, very inspiring. We did not do that this year because we're presenting Charity Woodrum, who is. And I'm going to ask her questions too about if the president's cutback on NASA funding has affected her in any way. I know it's affected some of the people she worked with, but I'm going to ask her about that. So our branch has only 4 meetings a year, 5 meetings, sorry, 5 meetings a year. And so in terms of our programming, that's what our members want. Our members want only good programs, and we've presented really good programs in the past. Since we're only by Zoom, we're able to call in some really good speakers. We've done everything from chair of the board of AUW, well, she was outgoing chair, to incoming new CEO of AUW Oregon, to new CEO or new president of AUW Oregon. We've had master distiller. We thought we would do a fun thing after the election. So we've had a lot of interesting people. The distiller was satisfying non-traditional careers. But most of our programming is mission-based. Also, we've dealt with authors of books, non-traditional, Title IX. But I don't have anything for next year. Our programming people said that they didn't want to do it anymore. So we've been doing program by committee. The board got together and decided, okay, what should we have for program? Because our last program is also a business meeting. We don't have a lot of business, a lot of time, so we need to have program as well. And the board members, we decide what programs we want, and then each of our board members say, okay, well, I'll lead that one. I'll head that one up and make sure it takes place. And so I think I should be quiet now because I'm taking too much of your time.
Well, the good thing about Oregon Online is anybody can join it all over the state because Rand is a member, I'm a member, and whether Mary Pat's a member.
We have members from other states too. We have members from 7 states, including our own.
Right. So then you get to see people from all over the place. And
We do.
It's fun. Okay, thanks, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So Laura Gordon from Seaside.
Okay. Yeah, I plan to come to the Charity Woodruff presentation, which unfortunately is going to be right before we actually show the movie here in Seaside. We will be showing it on January 31st at our local library, and we're partnered with the Astoria branch to try to get the word out and bring as many people here on the coast to come and watch it. So that's one of the things we're doing. We had a very dynamic speaker, the leader of Consejo Hispano, our local Hispanic council, who are very active, very proactive. And that was very timely because our main fundraiser is to staff a wine walk here in Seaside. And it was that very day that ICE came and took, I think, 3 people, which meant that 3 different restaurants were closed that evening on one of our main, tourist weekends. But that was a very informative meeting and inspiring. And so we're going to be supporting them. We also had a really fun meeting with the Warrenton School District underwater robotics team. We heard from them last year, and this year the whole team came. They brought all of their robots. This is something that starts in grade school and then goes up to high school, and they build ever progressively complex things. And they also she makes them come out and speak to people, so they're very polished speakers. I mean, even the grade school kids, the sixth graders, were giving us a very polished talk, and it's about half girls, so it's a really dynamic program. We've also partnered with our Seaside High School and a relatively new social studies teacher there who is going to work with us with the I keep forgetting their name, Civics Center. The Civics Center is a national voter registration organization that is intended for high school students to get out and persuade their peers to get registered before they graduate from high school. And here in Oregon, you can register before you actually turn 18, so long as you'll be 18 at the time of the election. And despite it being motor voter, not everybody drives. Not everybody gets a license. And so, and it's kind of a turnkey thing for the kids to organize a drive that they're going to do before the graduation. We also are looking forward to hearing in the spring from women in trades. And part of the inspiration for that is that one of our scholarship recipients at the local community college is studying welding. And she wants to be an underwater welder. Very specific thing where she's going to have to go to yet another program to learn the underwater part of it once she masters, welding. But we're hoping to hear from, hopefully some other interesting women in trades doing interesting things. Our local community college has a number of these types of programs, including for seamanship, training able seamen and that kind of thing. So we're hoping that we'll be able to hear from some women in some trades. At our upcoming holiday, get together, we are also doing a food drive, but it's very specifically for the community college snack pantry. It turns out that a lot of the students are on food stamps and may not get enough to eat. And, we're going to stock their snack pantry so they can come and get, something to eat in the middle of the day while they're at school, cup noodles or something, but, try to do that. So that's part of just our holiday get together where we'll also play a trivia game of famous women. So that's I think that pretty much covers what we've been doing and what's upcoming through the year. We do focus on locals and often hear from local women in various professions. We'll be hearing from judges and lawyers this year, also, in the spring. In the past, we had a very interesting one from women in public safety, mostly firefighters. But we also had a police detective and paramedics, and that was a year or so ago and was very well attended, and we really enjoyed meeting the women who were doing that in our community. So I think that's that pretty much
There's a lot going on in Seaside. Who
There's a
knew?
lot going on on the side, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so next, Lindsay Johnson is not here. Barb Kaufman from Gresham.
Hi, I am coming to the end of my tenure as VP of programs. At our branch, we have 2-year terms, and and you could do 2 consecutive. So I stayed for 2 consecutive terms. So at the end of this year, but when I agreed to do it, I said I'd rather be in a coordinator type position than decide the whole thing. So every June we get together. I try to a few people volunteer, and we brainstorm and set kind of ideas for the program and then present them. Each June, our board has a retreat, and then we vote and determine that for the year. So that's worked pretty well. As far as our programs go, last year, I'd say one of the highlights is through my previous connections, when I taught at Portland Community College, the associate VP of DEI at Mount Hood Community College was someone I knew. So I contacted her. Her name is Tracy Simmons, and she gave an excellent presentation on DEI. And the timing of it was perfect because it was, I think, March, right about the time that the president was, eliminating all that. I keep hoping she still has her job. Maybe they changed her title, so the words, the DEI isn't in there anymore. But that was really, really well received, and how she defined it. And I think our membership was a little bit had their eyes open a little bit about what that actually looks like, especially since, in all honesty, except for one woman, we have a white female population of our branch membership. And then the next program that was really, really well received, which we do this every September. September is when we start. We have a full slate pretty much from September through May of meetings. And so September is our entry to the year. And we had the Nick Whistle representatives from last spring, 2 young, well, one woman looked like she was about 25, but we found out she was 40 and had 3 children. And she was a Latino woman. Actually, both of them were young Latinos, but the other one was closer to 20. And she just gave an incredible presentation about her life story, how she came to go to Mount Hood Community College, and what they learned at Nick Whistle last year. And so that was really, really well received. And then in October, we had a program. Our theme is community and education. So like many of you said, we try to find local people. And generally speaking, we always try to have someone from local government. So I happened to meet this Multnomah County Commissioner in a park near my house at a music event. And I walked up to him and said, "Are you Vince Jones Dixon?" And asked him if he would come and talk. And he has a very compelling story. He's a young African-American man, and the first on Multnomah County Commission. If any of you are from Multnomah County, he represents primarily East Multnomah County, which is where we live in Gresham, and it's been underrepresented for a very long time. It actually represents pockets of high poverty and crime, and he himself has had 2 brothers die of gun violence. One from an actual kind of gang shooting in the Rockwood area, which is the East Gresham. And so he just decided that he wanted to have a different life. He was actually a funeral director in his profession at first. And so anyhow, he was really well received, quite charismatic. Everybody wanted to talk to him after the meeting. We usually have about 20 people, but so his story was compelling. And also, when we talk about diversity, we often talk about women, but for him to be on Multnomah County, which is all women, and he's the only man and then a man of color, was really kind of, how are you going to navigate this? And he's pretty impressive. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being in some other political office in Oregon. He's really, really impressive, and how he handles himself, and how he's moved through his life. And every January we try to have public policy. So we're going to have our local rep His name is Zach Hudson, and he will come and talk to our group. But every November we have a fundraiser luncheon. It just happened a week ago, and we raise quite a bit of money. Our primary goal is to support the Nick Whistle students, and then we have a endowed scholarship to Mount Hood Community College, which we have done very well, and we've got some super generous people, and we are at a point where we can provide full tuition for a year for a student at Mount Hood Community College. So that's something we're kind of proud of. But we hover around about 33 members. And so often there's 20 at the meetings, between 15 and 20. And let's see, what else? Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at this year. We try to have a variety of speakers, but our theme is often, related to people from the community.
That's neat. Thank you, Barb. So many good ideas. Okay, next we have, Marty's not here, so Jean Messick from Salem.
She's muted.
Muted.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so just one moment. Sean, shut the door. I'm talking.
That's her husband.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're lucky we don't have the dog barking. So what we're doing in our group is we have a lot of ideas, more ideas than we have time. So sometimes we have 2 programs in 1 month, and they are local. We have had no problems getting speakers locally, but we've had a couple come down from Portland. We had one on breast cancer, and I'm going to have a doctor on laughing coming in. So ours are a mix of mission-based and for your own health and to have fun. So we did a bird watching one, and we did museum tours, things that are around Salem, Deepwood Museum. We're going to have a tea. We're doing things with the League of Women Voters, and that kind of boosts our numbers a little bit, and that's working very well for us. And we go to their events, like they had a tour of the Capitol, so we joined them. And so that's how we're doing it. I used to be the program chair, but I moved on to be the Salem branch president this year. And we have a new program chair that hasn't quite stepped into the job yet. So Claudia has been assisting me with the ideas that were put in place when I was programs. And we also have some things that we do every year, like our welcoming event and then our Christmas event. What we do is we just plug it in the next year after we have it, because we know we like it and we're going to not break anything that's working. And so that pretty much sums it up. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Jean. That's why I'm interested in hearing about, especially the branches that use a committee type setup. Medford, Sandy is not here tonight. I was hoping she would be here because they have a good committee, and a couple of you have talked about that. Because sometimes it's hard to get one person that wants to be the program person. And Barb, I think, said you wanted to do kind of the overseeing, so you all got together. Was it the board that got together?
Well, it was members from the board, not the whole board.
Oh.
In the past, when I joined, there was usually one person or 2 people sharing, and nobody would volunteer. So I said, I will only do this if this is a shared responsibility. And I have a few tasks that are beyond, like making sure certain things happen. But what we did, which worked really well, is, I put up we kind of created a form for if you are the person who came up with the idea, you are considered the liaison. So it's up to you to organize everything, know what tech stuff is needed. You know, we send a thank you. Whoever is the liaison sends a thank you note to the speaker, or like I gave a little gift and with a thank you. And that works really well. So it isn't me because they're, you know, if you have the contact, if the board member has the contact, and usually it's a personal contact, but or someone they know fairly well, I think it's better to have, if I was the initial person who made the contact, then I should be the person. And so that
Right.
has worked well, having this grid of responsibilities as to who's supposed, you know, and follow through.
Thank you. And hopefully we can talk about that either at the end or at our next meeting if we get through everybody. Marie Mueller, Marie from Salem. Do you
Well,
want
hello, everybody. I really don't do programs. The
Right.
only thing I do with programs is I type them on the brochure
and you do a
so
great
that people
job. Thank
know
you.
when and where they're going to be. And I was just here to listen and learn.
Which ones do you like the best?
Me, I enjoy the ones that help me learn about something in the community because I'm new to Salem. And so almost anything is new to me.
Good. We're having a kitty break in Seaside to keep kitty. Thank you, Marie. She's not here. Mary Pat, our president-elect.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm primarily, excuse me, just here to learn, to hear from everybody. I want to spend my pre-year just doing that. But I do want to note, I think it might be of interest to you, just 2 hours ago, I was in a Zoom meeting, and thank you, Randa. I believe you were running that meeting. This was California AAUW. And it was actually conducted, or the speaker was Megan Kissel, I'm not sure how she says it. And she's head of public policy at National. And she was talking about the impact on the Department of Education from the various administrative decisions that have been made this year. It was a very interesting program, I thought. It was recorded, and she did say it could be shared. So it's relatively timely because she was talking about some current decisions, some decisions that would be made in January. I mean, it's not something there was some of it might be interesting in May, but primarily, if someone were interested in using this, including at the state level, I would recommend that it be this month or next month, probably would be ideal. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because it was a very interesting topic. And thank you all. I'm really encouraged by all the incredibly good programs that the people here have shared. Maybe the ones who didn't come didn't have so much to say. I don't know, but it's really been encouraging, and it's great to hear all of you. So thanks.
There are some really good ones. And then, okay, we're at the end of our alphabet. So we've touched on some of the questions that I brought up. Should programs deal with cultural issues, public policy issues? Oh, did I forget Barb and Grants Pass? What's your last name?
You're
Oh,
mute.
Satterwhite. Wait,
Satterthwaite.
thank you. And it's not on there, so I didn't see it.
I didn't think it would fit on there.
Oh, probably not. Sorry, I did not mean to miss you. Please tell us about Grants Pass.
Grants Pass. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Grants Pass has about 80 members and a very active group. Mostly we have probably 35 people come to each of the meetings. unless it's an outstanding speaker. I'm the current president, co-president of the Grants Pass branch. The last time I was president was 35 years ago, and I've been other officers along the way, but back to being president again. For programs, we have a committee. There's a program chair, and she's always comes up with a committee, and each of the committee members then introduces the speaker they have come up with, as I think the Gresham branch was saying too, which works very well on that. And the brainstorming for the committee to come up with different ideas and different speakers has worked well over many, many years. Some of the programs we've done, we had the local librarian whose topic was the intentional approach for school building bridges, not barriers, and how do we select books? And it was all about this. It was really the book banning was really big in Grants Pass this last year. And some of the board members tried to get books banned unilaterally. And so they were telling us how it worked. How can you ban books? How can you not ban books? So that was an excellent presentation. And then in the next month, we had my husband actually was a speaker. He spent 3 months in Ukraine volunteering his time, helping military learn English and helping to repair bombed out homes. So he had an interesting experience volunteering, and he shared that. And I think that was the meeting we've had the most people come to. Community members came to it too. So it was nice to share that. Then upcoming, we have Lois McMillian, who was the Oregon Teacher of the Year. She's a local teacher here. My children had her as a teacher. She's wonderful. She's going to be speaking to us about civics in January. It should be a program that should again bring in a lot of people. She's a phenomenal speaker. And I think everybody would be interested in hearing what she has to say. Why do civics matter? Then we're having, this should be a fun one, a woman who works for Del Rio Vineyard, a vintner, is going to come and talk to us about how women are shaping the future of wine. They're new to the profession, truly. So it'd be interesting to see what's happening there. And then we're having investing in the future. We're having the local person who runs the Redwood Education Foundation, which has a lot of funds that they give out to high school seniors to get them to community college, to trade school, to college. So how is that funded? How do they give out the scholarships, and how does it all work? So she'll bring us up to speed on that. And then we're going to have a firefighter from the Illinois Valley, a woman, going to come and talk to us about what it's like to be a firefighter. And lastly, we're going to have some matriarchs from Indigenous people come to our brunch that we're having in, I think it's May. It is May, a potluck brunch, and it'll be the Native American matriarchs. We have some Takelma Indians in the area, so I'm not sure who's all coming, but it should be a fascinating program, and looking forward to hearing that. So, and it makes me look good as president. We have a great program because people want to come to the program.
Well, that's great. So were you on the board for 35 years?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, good.
No, I was involved in many other things over the years, volunteering in the community, on the school board and things. And so the Froggo Fair, Children's Festival, I was on that for 30 years, but on the board, on and off, a program on the committee, but not the program chair. Yes.
Well, I know Grants Pass, I think, from what I've heard, I mean, it's a very conservative area. And the first thing that you had to fight was to get a library. And then you did get a library. And then now you're dealing with banned books in the library and questions about whether the library will continue, is what I've heard. But maybe that
has been resolved. The library definitely will continue. The building that they're in is owned by the county, and the county wanted the building for another purpose and wanted to kick them out. So they tried to cancel the lease, and that has been resolved in the last couple of months. And so it's set for the next 5 years while the library is building a new building, raising funds to build a new building. So,
oh, good. Well, there is some support in the community then.
Strong support in the community, good. Very strong support. And
that's great. Thank you. And thanks for waving at me. Is it Satterwhite?
Okay, when it doesn't rain, the sad earth waits. Sad earth wait. phonetical that way, makes it
Okay.
easier.
Thank you. Earthleads. Okay, good. Thank you. So did I get everybody? I better ask and not just assume these things. Good. So we have about 7 to 20 minutes. I'm just going to throw it out and we can just, whoever wants to talk. Should programs deal with cultural issues, public policy, just social programs? You know, some people like social, some people like public policy. And then how do we make sure that we get mission-based objectives? What are your thoughts?
I'll speak up.
Regina.
I think programs should be an opportunity to educate our members. And I think it should be cultural, it should be anything that does that. And I would consider social, those are more events than a program. And so, you know, we're having a Christmas party this Saturday, that would be an event. And so I clearly think, you know, cultural things are I think very important to educate our members on. We have a non-diverse organization. We have all white females of a certain age. And it's just we just can't diversify our membership. There's just very few people of color in the Ashland area. So I think that's the programs are a perfect opportunity for us to bring people in that don't look like us and don't act like us, so that we can better understand other cultures.
That's a good point. Anybody else?
Well, in speaking on like diversity, membership, we are trying to diversify, and really one of our primary resources that I've tried to encourage people to reach out to is Mount Hood Community College, because we serve a pretty heavily Latino population in East County, and there are women who are working in faculty or leadership positions there. And we did recruit. She hasn't come to meetings probably because of work, but she worked, I think, with the women for Nick Whistle. I can't think of what her position is at the college, but I've often said, kind of look where the professional women that are Latinos or Black women or whatever, where are they working? And maybe reach out, even if they aren't retired, because we tend to have a primarily retired population in our membership. So that's one of the things that I've tried to get people to kind of, because you get in your little silos of, we've all been in this place together for 20 years. I mean, I'm one of the youngest ones in the group and one of the newer ones, and I joined in 2016. And so I feel like the reason I joined was because I knew I was going to be retiring, and I wanted something to do that, spoke to me. And so that's, as we're trying to look at moving forward and have more diversity, I think, and having a diversity of programs also speaks to someone as a member, if they're diverse, if they have a different cultural perspective.
That's good. Anybody else? Mary Pat?
I would hope, and I think this has been largely true of what I've heard tonight, that every branch would have at least one meeting on public policy, that dealt with public policy. I think it's just extremely important for AAUW nationally and statewide and locally, whether it involves just your local representatives or other things, particularly when you get close to election times and get people out to vote. Anyway, I would just really encourage a fairly good emphasis on public policy. Thank you.
Well, I know I am also in League of Women Voters, and this summer they had the Writing the Constitution workshops all summer, and they brought in a lot of outside people that saw the flyer at the library, and they gained about 10 new members just from that. So one of the good things about this past election is that people are motivated to get involved and pay attention, which they might not have paid attention in the past. So the more that we can do public policy wise, I think with AUW too, the better to get people in. We don't, so that we're seen as doing something and making a difference, because that's important right now to all of us. Okay, Marissa?
Yeah, we have found success in doing a public policy once or sometimes twice a year when we pull together with the League of Women Voters. We do one in the fall and then a tea in the springtime. And many of our members are also members in the league. So we feel like rather than reinventing the wheel, and there's no need to duplicate, right?
Yeah, why duplicate? And Laura?
In terms of public policy, we've always had a candidates forum, but then there are off years where there really aren't any elections. And so this year we've partnered, as I mentioned, with Astoria and are hoping to put together a panel of people from all those different commissions and boards and things like that to tell us what do you do, because you get your ballot and it's got like one person or nobody running for these various boards and commissions. And we're hoping that might be a way to get the word out about doing that. So we always try to do at least one public policy thing along those lines. But I think it should be a balance, educational, but a balance of what we're interested in. Our whole branch actually has one meeting a year where we just decide what we're interested in hearing from or what people have ideas about or know somebody or things like that. And similar to what Barb was saying, we also, if somebody comes up with the idea, then they're responsible to run with it and, get the person there and that kind of thing. And our programs person actually is more the logistics, be sure we have a place, be sure we have some tech if we need it, some snacks, make the coffee, It kind of turns out to be those kinds of things that the programs person is doing, and each of us individually takes responsibility. Plus our more social things, we have separate groups. We've got a book group, we've got a lunch bunch, we've got off and on, we've had a movie club, those kinds of things. And our a walking group, which is actually just a coffee group that walks. And the book group is very well attended. It's probably our most popular activity. So,
thank you.
Separate.
And Georgia. Georgia, did you have your hand up?
Yes, in terms of public policy, I would like to congratulate the Branch Pass branch in at least having public policy at the background of everyone's mind, because in the monthly newsletter, there's a half to 3/4 to a full page of public policy information, along with our representatives, our elected representatives, local, state, national, and how to contact them. We've had a bit of irritation, shall I say, with our local people over the past couple of years, maybe longer. I say this because I'm a little bit handicapped because I can't walk or stand very well lately, but I know people, and I have been involved with people who are really irritated with not only the city of Grants Pass board, counselors, what do you call them? I forget. I lose my words lately, as well as the board of county commissioners, who are doing things that are not for the good of the whole county, all the people. and they are doing things in a rather haughty way, and they talk down to the people. And a lot of people in Grants Pass and in Josephine County are just unhappy with them. So I've been involved in two recalls.
Hmm.
Two recalls. Last year, recalling one county commissioner. This year, we're putting up two county commissioners for recall. The recall signatures on the petitions have just been validated so that these two county commissioners will be up for a vote in January. And some of the people in Grants Pass are talking about, maybe we ought to recall some of our city councilors. So a lot of people are stirred up in Josephine County and Grants Pass. At least we have this in public policy. The branch itself hasn't stood up and done anything, but a lot of the members of the branch have. But the branch itself has contact information and has had it available for over a year in the bulletin. So although maybe the branch isn't hot and pushing people out to do stuff as a branch, they've got stuff available for branch members if they want to do it. So I'll give a Yahoo to the branch for having that stuff available for people to do something with. And I would pose Nancy Lester, give her a Yahoo for making sure that happened.
That's good. Thank you. Well, just those people that were going to get rid of the library, I don't know if they're in that group, but they just sound like some
Oh yeah,
wonderful
from day
people.
one, these people. Never mind, I won't go into that.
Mara,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know how to do a hands
that's
up
okay.
through Zoom.
That works either way.
Okay. One of the reasons we do so many public policy talks at our branch meetings is because we have a lot of interest groups that are social. So we don't need to do that at the branch level. We have 7 book groups.
Wow.
We have a breakfast group. We have a Wimpy Walker eager
I like that one, Wimpy Walker.
group. We have a bridge group. We have anyway, the interest groups, there's probably 15 of them. Okay. So that's the heartbeat of Portland, is all these social things. So then when we get together for meetings, and I'm probably pushing public policy a bit too much, but anyway, that's why we're so heavy in that way.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Barb?
We kind of combine it a little. We do have interest groups that are separate, but the one thing that is kind of interesting, we are very consistent kind of in what we do eat yearly. So in November, we always have a luncheon for our fundraiser. And then January and February are both luncheons. So those become kind of a social thing combined with whatever our program is. And they are better attended than our regular branch meetings, which we actually moved to 4 o'clock. They were at 6, and then we decided to move them to 4. So we do okay with that, because usually we're out of there by 5:30. And we chose the luncheons for January, February because it's darker, and some people might not want to drive. But so it's kind of a nice thing. We still, like I said, have a walking group and all that. That's separate. But the luncheons people look forward to. Every February is our branch's birthday, so we have cake and kind of tie and have a short program that that's also part of that event. And then in May we have another. We like to go out and eat a lot, I think. So we have another banquet that's more of our installation banquet for new officers, and we introduce our scholarship winner. And that person usually gives a little blurb. Sometimes we'll bring in somebody from a program that we've done for the year. So we actually end up with like 4 luncheons or an evening. The one in May is usually a dinner type of banquet at a restaurant.
But whatever works, it sounds like it works. Anybody else have anything to add? Well, it's 7:08. So I think that could be the end of our meeting. If anybody has one last thing to add, feel free. And we'll have another one in the spring. This is kind of the beginning of the year, and then towards the end of the year, what's happened this year, what's planned for next year. And I hope you'll all return. And before that, we'll have our Zoom conference on April 24th and 25th. So hopefully you will all attend that also. And again, if you can put me on your newsletter list, I'm already on Ashland and Medford. Barbara?
Do you
What is
have,
your email address?
yeah, that's what I need.
ccarmichael54@gmail.com. So thank you all for being here. And if anybody wants to see a Yorkie, which would be Nancy, here she is. There's Maisie.
Hi, Maisie.
Bye.
So thank you all for being here. And I loved hearing all your ideas. I'm very motivated.
They
and
were
enthused.
very great
Flavia.
ideas.
Happy holidays, everybody.